Thank you. Hi, John.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you ready with your opening prayer?
Sige po, manalangin po tayo. Dakilang Diyos na may bigyan at mapagpala sa lahat. Maraming salamat po, Ama, sa pagkakataong ito na ibinigay niyo man po sa bawat isa sa amin upang sa amin pong review sa gabing ito. Naway samahan niyo po kami sa aming pagre-review hanggang sa aming pag-take po ng aming board exam. Basbasan niyo rin po ang bawat isang naririto ngayon na nasa Zoom meeting at ngayon din po sa aming ah, tagapagturo sa gabing ito. Naway gawad niyo po sa kanya ang sapat na kaalaman upang may bahagi niya po sa amin ang kanya pong nalalaman upang ito po ay magamit namin sa aming ah, pagre-review at sa aming board exam. Ama, kayo na po ang bahala sa amin at naniniwala po kaming gagabayan niyo po kami at ibibigyan niyo po ang aming mga kahilingan sa buhay. Ito po ang aming samot dalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, John. Okay, I'll share my screen. Ay, just a moment. Kikita kaya? So, last time, we are here, dito sa here in the different standards, but I decided to shift to another material, which could be more comprehensive. Kasi ang natitira na lang dito are secondary schools. Okay, so anyway, you have this copy, and then this one is it's still social sector anyway, but siguro it's more okay, it's more comprehensive. So I'll for those especially for those who are coming here first time, I will now make a summary of the social sector. So, but I will be sharing this PDF naman with Jen and Jen to post it at the GC. So I'm making a synthesis now on the social sector that yeah. So these are the basic kasi 2024-2025 board exams, they've dealt heavily on social justice. So, and social justice is and underpins the social planning or social sector development planning. So, okay, we have here the basic concerns. So, analysis and monitoring of the demographic characteristics and behavior, okay, of the population. Then interpreting this in terms of planning implications. So when we analyze and monitor, okay, this one, it means we need to regularly measure who the people are and how they are changing over time in a specific community or in our respective communities. So we need to track population size, age, structure, household size, fertility, mortality, migration, and where these groups are located. And monitoring also matters. Although we say monitoring and evaluations, they're called it's called MNE. It matters because a plan that uses only one census snapshot will miss trends that drive service demand and budget pressure. So there's a need to. So this is number one is important as one of the basic concerns of the social sector. Then we also interpret. Okay, so interpret this in terms of planning implications. Means we translate those numbers into decisions. So, for example, a young population means a future pressure on schools and entry-level jobs, while an aging population, so we're talking about two types of population, isn't it? So an aging population means higher demand for healthcare and social support and rapid in migration. Remember, we were also talking about rapid in migration. It means housing pressure and risk of informal settlement. So the social sector is where data becomes actionable priorities, targets, and projects. Can you please mute yourself? Kung sino man yung maingay. Alright. So, um, social characteristics of the area population refers to the basic profile of people and households in the area and how it differs across barangays or neighborhoods. So it includes age, sex, education, employment, what else? Poverty, status, disability, household composition, and settlement pattern. So the planning use is to identify which groups are most vulnerable, where they live, and what type of support they will need. And overall quality of life here is the lived condition, the actual condition of the population, not just economic output. So that differs quality of life versus the economic aspect. And so it covers health and nutrition, safety, environmental comfort, mobility, access to opportunities, and social cohesion. So in planning, you use this to judge whether development actually improves daily life and whether improvements are shared or concentrated in only a few areas. Availability of and access to social services means that service exists and has enough capacity, such as schools, health facilities, water, and sanitation systems. Also, protective services. So, access means people can actually use it, considering distance, travel time, cost, safety, also disability access, and overcrowding. So this distinction is crucial because a facility on paper alone does not automatically mean the service is functional in real life. Then we have the social justice concerns. Here, madaming lumabas sa board exam. How would you define social justice? So, yeah, this is the equity test for social planning. I think I need to turn it to red. So, equity test of social planning. Okay. So, sorry, I need to. Mahirap magsulat sa screen ng social. Alright. It asks who benefits from development and who carries the burdens. So it includes fair access to services, protection of vulnerable groups, avoidance of displacement into hazard-prone areas, meaningful participation is also one of those factors, and gender responsiveness. So please don't forget this variable. And so social justice concerns keep plans from improving averages while leaving specific communities or when we worsen the condition of communities. So social characteristics here is what you can see, is it refers to any or all of the following aspects of the area's population. So please look into this one. Kailangan matandaan din ninyo yan. And then, so you know what social characteristics, demographic structure, ethno-linguistic characteristics, inheritance systems, religious beliefs, and then other cultural practices. So individual and group activities here refer to the actual patterns of life in the community, such as work arrangements, the market behavior, and then those activities and gatherings. For example, by the youth sector or any community gathering, and informal economic practices. So they could be included. And these activities are often the practical expression of the demographic and cultural factors already listed here. So it is where you test whether a proposed facility location or program design fits how people actually lived, not how planners, for example, us, how we assume they should live. So it's very important. Then quality of life here, I'll just cover all these characteristics. So quality of life, in measuring the quality of life, the usual practice is to use a set of indicators covering specific sectors or dimensions of welfare, which more easily lend themselves to measurement. So it's actually broad. Quality of life is very broad. That that you measure it through a set of indicators rather than a single number. So the point of using set of indicators is to capture different dimensions of welfare in a way that can be tracked over time and compared across areas. So in planning, this prevents you from relying on one indicator like income or infrastructure while missing some other factors like health, access, safety, and other conditions that define how people actually lived. Family income, you know this one already. So again, you are seeing social justice here. Then until poverty. So you expect questions also on poverty. Okay. So meron tayong constitution. So you might want to read also that one. So under social justice, so you have the right of labor, encourage just distribution of agricultural lands, protect the rights of subsistence fisher folk and all other marginalized communities here. Then make available affordable decent houses. So later we will be dealing on standards here. So you need to be ready with your calculator. So it's just simple computation anyway. Yeah, there's no guarantee that there will be computation, but if you would be able to relate with the formula and be able to recall during your board exam, kapag nandun na kayo, and then you would remember that we did it, di ba? Nag-practice tayo, and so it should be easy for you to recall the principles and the theory behind all these exercises, all this procedure in planning. And then priority to health needs. So if you notice, lahat no? So there are some adjectives here like underprivileged, etc. So you would see that's social because we are talking about social justice, working women, rights of the people to free and independent association. And so you can see this also in the constitution, participation of people's organizations. And then this is also very important from the local government code, the general welfare goals. So I hope you will also run through these items. Let me check ano yung whether natin. Okay. So under general welfare goals relevant to the social sector, so we have preservation and enrichment of culture. Of course, you know that it means local development. I mean, the local development should protect and strengthen the community's identity and heritage and not erase it or let it vanish. So in social planning, this includes safeguarding cultural sites, then supporting local arts and traditions, respecting indigenous and local practices as well, and making public spaces and community facilities that allow culture to be practiced and transmitted. And so the planning implication is that culture is treated as a public value that shapes social cohesion and belonging. And therefore, it should be reflected in land use decisions as well, in facility planning and community programs. Then, under general welfare goals, maraming lumabas nito eh. So, promotion of health and safety. So, it goes to show, or it means that the LGU must plan for conditions that reduce disease, right? Injury, and preventable deaths. So, and you know what that means when you translate into planning standards, then maintenance of peace and order. So creating community conditions where people feel safe and conflicts are managed within lawful and fair systems. So in planning terms, this includes safe street networks and adequate lighting. So when you translate that into the planning language, then could be functional public spaces, clear land use rules, and fair enforcement that builds trust. So it also includes designing communities that support social cohesion and reduce opportunities for crime through good visibility, active streets, and reliable services. So the key planning implication is that peace and order is sustained not only through enforcement but also through settlement design and social stability. Then, so I think we would be ready. So you would see here some examples. So these are examples of data for social sector analysis and planning, as well as the possible sources. You can see here. Okay, yung data. So ito yung hanapin when we plan or we formulate or update our CLUP, and then these are the social sector analysis. So I think I need to, so there's the housing there. So these are just the different data that you need to produce before starting off with the CLUP or CDP and CDP, I should say. So but you check this one. So I need to go through the standards. Social welfare, sports and recreation, public order and safety. Okay. Because we will also be tackling on the legal basis, for why we need to include them in our planning work. So there should be like that. Okay. So we have the Constitution here. Then we have the local government code. Mm, let me just choose. Okay. Then for each makikita ninyo yung legal basis. So why we would even include sports and recreation. So nandito lahat. So please check and try to familiarize yourselves here. Okay. So I think I need to start with the standards. So I'm not sure if you have done also Sprague multipliers. Nung araw, it should be harder. I mean, if I can be more accurate in my observation, during the pre-pandemic, madaming math na ano, no? So, they also, what you're seeing here is ganito. Maglalagay sila ng table and then you compute. And that's why it's important to be, to, you know, kasi ngayon Excel na eh, di ba? So, but we don't use Excel. So, they still require examinees to bring scientific calculators para alam ninyo paano kinocompute yun, uh, paano kinocompute using this formula. Okay. So, okay, hang on. So, ito yung housing. Just, okay. So, for housing, check. Ano ka lang ha? Just a moment. Okay. So, I'll start with housing here. Okay. So, housing in social planning is treated as a settlement system. So, I think I already mentioned that. So, we need to, our task is to quantify demand, backlog also, and then, and how we need to upgrade the housing needs. Then, we need to match that with land availability, tenure conditions, basic services, and hazard safety. So housing indicators are there for use to translate population dynamics into housing requirements and into the infrastructure and social services that make housing livable. For average number, okay. Ano yung housing kanina? Okay. So, yun ka lang. So for housing demand, we have this formula. So if we are estimating current housing demand, this is the total current housing demand. Okay, we have this formula. So let me see. Can you see this one? Diyan nakikita pa din yung aking slide. Average number of persons per household. Okay. So I'm looking for some foreign housing demand. Hello. Number of households. Okay, just a moment lang. Titingnan ka lang. Homeless. Hello, Jen.
Ma'am?
Ah, nakikita pa rin ninyo yung aking slide.
Yes po.
Okay. So, para makompleto natin yung ating please note the formula, total number of households. Total number of households minus total number of housing units plus total number, and then we have another, this is first equation, and then second, total number of families minus total number of households. Sometimes it gets to be very confusing, yung households and then yung housing units. So let's go over some examples here later. Plus, and then you also have to add another equation here. Total number of unacceptable housing units plus barong-barong. So that's what the standard or the formula is saying when we need to estimate current housing demand. And then my note dito, unacceptable housing units may be assumed as a certain percentage of housing units made of mixed materials. So, if we have this, palitin ko kaya, tingnan nga ninyo, okay. Can you make some computation on your own, and I'll check. Pwedeng makita mo ba dyan sa mamaya na i-chat sa chat box. So let's see how fast you were able to understand the formula. So ito yung given So, tingnan nga natin if you can give me an answer. Or maybe you can unmute, Tingnan natin. So, meron ng answer dyan?
1,000 po yung sagot ni Sir Mark Calanta.
1,000. Who has another answer?
$1,000 din po kay Sir Luis Cardel.
Dalawa lang ba naka-answer?
Tatlo po, 1,000 din po si Ma'am Edeliza.
Okay. Sige, I'll wait for two more because I'm not getting the correct answer. Let's see
May
kung
tumagat
correct
po ng 800,
ang sino.
si Ma'am Anel David.
Sige. So this is just estimating current housing demand. Current housing. Okay.
700 po si Sir Franz.
Okay. So if we, okay, meron na tayong meron na tayong ganyan. So if we have a given here 8,333, then total number of families 8,500. Then total number of housing units is 8,200. And then housing made of mixed and light materials 500, and then the barong-barong is 200. So this computation estimates current housing demand as an immediate shortage and inadequacy measure. So it combines this one. Pero yung current so meron tayong ano to? Formula naman. And if we try to separatin ko, 8,300 yung total number of households. 833, baka ako mali. And then, yun, minus total number of housing units is 8,200. So, plus 85, total number of families. Yan. Minus 8,333. Correct ba? And then, another equation, yung ika-third is 500. Kasi nakalagay, di ba? Given siya. Maybe you missed this one. You missed the 5%. So, overall, so plus 200. Kasi wala ka nang gagawin sa barong. Pero, housing made of mixed and light materials is, you need to, saan ka ba makikita yung 5%? But you need, hindi mo housing made of mix kasi plus total unacceptable housing units plus barong-barong. You don't copy what is given here na 500, but you need to iba yung so here unacceptable housing units may be assumed as a certain percentage, okay, as a certain percentage of housing units made of mixed materials, or it could be determined kapag ka actual survey sana, the given could be like this. So kung based on actual survey, Uh, and then it designated, for example, 500 units unacceptable, di ba? Unacceptable housing. So, you could answer this one. But, sabi naman dito sa standard, may be assumed a certain percentage. Hindi, total unacceptable housing units is not equal to the given na 500. So, probably, hindi na-mention na 5%, ano? So, okay na ba tayo doon? So, you may be correct in 1,000 na, no? Because walang percentage doon. But remember, you don't jump into the housing made of mixed and light materials. Hindi lahat ng housing made of mixed and light materials. Kapag ka walang given, then you multiply by 5%. Pag walang given. Okay ba yan? So, another one, so determining the number of new units to cover housing backlog. So this is derived by adding up the requirements for doubled up households. So that's the first formula for housing. We need to, okay. So doubled up households exist when one dwelling unit, okay, ito yung definition niya. When one dwelling unit is shared by two or more households. So this is mathematically expressed as doubled up housing or doubled up household in time t equals total number of household in time t and total dwelling units in time t. Now, if this is the given DUT, okay, because of this formula. So compute the compute doubled up household. So DUT, merong given, HHT given siya, di ba? So meron ng 300, dito na pala, 3,436. So it means that the household dwelling unit ratio is 1.02. This means that about 2% of households are sharing with another households. Just a moment. Let me just check. So for displaced units, meaning relocation, so to determine the number of displaced units, simply total the number of housing units in danger zones. Remember, danger zones or uninhabitable areas, those affected by major government infrastructure projects, and those which are subject of a court order for eviction or demolition. So an estimate of displacement due to natural disasters can also be added to the total. If this is the given, can you compute? Anyone?
₱270 po si Sir Alberto and Ma'am Robel Ann and Sir Mark.
Okay, so at least we have a correct answer this time, no? So you just have to add all this to get the displaced units. So, so far, okay. Mm, okay, now for homeless naman. For homeless, if it is assumed that homeless population consists mainly of families, divide the number of homeless persons by the average household size. So this will result in the number of homeless households. But if the population consists of distinct individuals, each of these individuals is considered as a separate household. Therefore, the number of homeless persons equals the number of homeless households. Ano ba siya? Is it confusing? So this, however, may be addressed by the improved institutional care. So I'm just reading the standard. To compute for homeless households and total needs of homeless, the following formula may be used. So ito siya. Okay. Would you like to kopyahin mo na, no? And then because magbibigay ako ng example. Okay na ba tayo? Okay. So can you, oops, mahirapan na, no? Okay. How about this? Number of homeless based on actual survey, 300 persons. Number of homeless who are not part of any household, 28. And then average household size, 5 persons. So, can you compute now ilagay ka daan? Okay, can you compute homeless? Let me just... Meron na?
Wala pa po.
Okay. So,
82.4 ang sagot po ni Sir Luis Cardel.
How about other people? Okay. Bali na wala ako.
May 83 rin po, ma'am.
Sige, I need other answers. Okay. So, ito yung kanina na. 300 persons, so we will, ganyan lang siya kasimple. 300 persons minus 28 divided by 5 plus 28, and then you get 82. Kasi we are computing for homeless, di ba? Homeless. So, so let me just go back to ang kanina sa ito. So, double up households. So we have households is 159. Total dwelling units ay 156. 156 pala. So, okay, I'll just repeat ito kanina, no? 156, 540 for total dwelling units. So, and then 159,976 for ito, total number of households. So, households naman. Households. And so, when you apply this formula, so you need to just get the difference between HHT and DUT. So you get 3,000. Pero itong ano na to, you may wonder, itong ano niya, no? That if you get the ratio naman, so if you can divide 159,976 divided by 156, 540. So you get 1.02. So ito yung the household dwelling unit, di ba? Household, ito, dwelling unit ratio is 1.02. Now, this one means that, siyempre, 1.02 equals 1 plus 02. So for what it means here, so what we're trying to prove here is that for one dwelling unit, there are 1.02 households. Did you get that? Households, okay? So, then, yung 0.02, so how many extra households, di ba? So, maybe you wonder that. So, 0.02 here to, let me just put it here, 0.02, di ba, pag sa yun, 2% of 1 unit, di ba? So, that is why 2% of households are extra, relative to dwelling units. So, kaya 159,976 here minus 156 is 3,436. It means those 3,436 households do not have a separate dwelling unit. So they must be sharing with others. Kaya, when you convert that, pag ito, lagay ko dito. Ay, dito na lang siguro, no? Sorry. Pag 3,436 divided by 159, yung 3,000 na dwelling, yung doubled up, no? Yung nakuha mo, yung doubled up households which you obtain divided by 159. Kasi ito siya, no? Okay. Household. 159,976. So, and then of course, iyan ang mga ninyo yan. So, if you multiply that by 100, because it's this percentage, so you get 2.15%, no? So, ibig sabihin that 1.02 is just another way of saying there are about 2% more households than dwelling units, which results in about 2% doubled up households. So, if you had 102 households and 100 dwelling units, so yung na-compute natin na 100, kasi 1.02. So example, for example, another example, if you have 102 households and 100 dwelling units, ano ko na lang, dwelling units. Paano ko kaya ma-interpret ito ng mas maayos? And then, for example, mag-example lang ako ulit, 100 dwelling units. Ibig sabihin, if you get the ratio of that, 1.02, 102 divided by 100 equals 1.0. Pag ganyan yung halimbawa ganyan yung and you get, ibig sabihin, you would have 2 extra households, meaning 2 households must share with others. So, I hope you're getting that. Paano mo i-compare, how would you define households with dwelling units? So, dwelling units means bahay, and then yung households, so if there are more number of households, it means that you are defining that as it is shared by 2 or more households. Okay? Di ba typical Filipino arrangement that uh, unlike other cultures that they really don't want sharing, so especially Western culture, they don't really want to share. But for Filipinos, this is normal. And sometimes, in more realistic terms, it's not that probably some are sharing dahil wala silang they can afford. But, Filipinos, it's something, there would be other more accurate explanation for that, that even if they would share one household, there should be many reasons, not only because of affordability reasons, but probably for the typical that we cannot, it breaks our heart if we separate from our children, parang ganun. Gusto natin we still stay in one home, parang ganun, or one compound, or one, basta magkakasama, di ba? So that's something that when you are writing your CLUP, you can always cite the what came out in your computation, but there must be some narratives in your plan that you describe what's the psychology of people would still like to be sharing with the dwelling units of our families. Ganun. Okay, so already doubled up, displaced. So ano kaya to? New number need to meet the requirements. Letter C. Okay, new number of the housing units needed to meet the requirements of the projected, so we are the projected number of population means future housing kanina, no, yung current. So future housing needs can be estimated for projected years by adopting the following formula. So remember this one? Like exert, parang ganun na. So X, number of housing units at latest census, and then the constant, and then rate of increase of housing units between two census years, and then R is time interval between latest housing census year and projected planning year. So if this is the given, so 1995 and 1990, so T is 5 the ano no. So R equals loan times H unit of 1995. I mean housing units 1995 divided by 1990 all over T. So you can compute that. Okay, can you compute now? So you would need scientific calculator to get this one. Or hindi naman siguro kahit hindi one. You can get it from cell phone. But you must be ready with your calculator. No? Sige nga. Okay. Kasi wala na kayong panahon mag-practice eh. So this is the only chance na you get to.
Ma'am, sagot po ni Ma'am Robelan, 0.14.
Sige. Others also, you can give the chance to the people. Wala yan. So we are correct in that. Can you compute 99? Naku-compute ba ng iba? So I think we got it correctly. Okay, kapag 3 years nga, if you can, di ba yung we computed for R, the rate of increase of housing units between 2 census years. Now, if you change that to nung 1998, when T equals 3, sige nga, when T equals 3, what is R? Hmm.
0.23 po ang sagot ni Ma'am Melissa. Pati rin po 23.2 si Sir Adolfo.
Mhm. So how many? Okay. Now solve for. Okay, just a moment. Ayun. After getting, okay, so R, okay, let me see. How about future housing demand? So after solving for R, no? For R, if you get this one, R equals 13.96 or 0.13. After solving for R, so what is now the future housing demand when T equals 5? T equals 5, kailangan pala, okay, yung future housing demand. Demand for equals di ba ito X E R T. So nakuha mo na yung ano, no, point. So R now is let's say, so sige, 0.13, 0.14 na lang. 0.14 ano. Compute for future housing demand. So X is number of housing units at latest census. So doon sa latest census is 1995. Use 1995 kasi latest census, di ba? Always latest census yung X. Then you multiply it with the constant E, then raise to the 0.14 times 5. Yun ba yung ipoproject? Projected pala ito, sorry Sorry. So, hindi pala siya. 3 pala ito, sorry. 3. We are projecting it for the 3-year term, di ba? So, 1998 pala. Ito. But I am correct about number of housing units in 1995. You know what? During our time at SARP, pinapractice namin yan sana sa scientific calculator kasi they really wanted us to compute yung using calculator for board exam purposes. So what is future housing demand?
Ma'am, may sumagot po ng 33,058.159. May 33,125 or
Okay.
25,084.97 or 25,085, 33,194,
Okay.
200.
So yung mga sumagot ng 25K plus, I think yun yung so future housing demand. So future housing demand, we're talking about the 1998 1998 ito. Kasi yun yung pinoproject natin. So from 1995 to 1998 is 3, no? So equals yung X natin is the most recent, yung latest census is 1995. So 16,482 na, 482. So times 2.7, 1828, 1828. Pero kapag if you have calculator, you don't need to type this one kasi meron ka namang raised to the 0.14. Or pwede mo namang i-spell out ito, 0.1396 times 3, okay? So yan. Ay. So I need to adjust na lang. Ulit. So, equals 16. 482. Yes. 1
Uy.
Ay, 2.7. Jen, naririnig ka. 2.7. 188. So, yun. Pwedeng iyan ang ito. I'm just doing this, raised to the R times T. So you may point 1396 times 3. Okay? Times 3 yan. Hindi siya, sorry. Alright. So kapag ganyan, whatever values dyan, yun yung correct. Okay? So, you need to bring your calculator para masundan ninyo ito. Then, so answer. I'm not sure of this, basta but you know how to, dapat alam niyo i-perform sa calculator. Okay? Then, determining upgrading needs. So this can be determined through actual survey. To avoid double counting, displaced units must be excluded because these are included in the calculation of new housing units needed due to relocation needs. So, upgrading need may take the form of one or combination of the following. So, could be improving land tenure status. For example, from provision of minimum security of tenure as in written contract to awarding a title of land. So, please read this one. Or access to basic services. For example, dirt road to macadam road. Then house condition from semi-permanent to permanent structure. So these are the types of upgrading. And it is the LGU that has to determine the criteria to be used for upgrading. Okay, so based on survey. Then for health, I think general, these are, I already discussed about the health indicators, fertility, mortality. So please check the recording. Okay. But we have some formula again here. For crude birth rate. So this is the formula. Number of live births divided by total population. Because this is per 1,000 population, you need to multiply that. So, if this is given, can you compute CBR? It's not difficult, so answer.
Ma'am, yung sagot po ni Sir Alberto is 36.66.
36.66. Okay. So, 37 because you need to round off kasi crude birth rate yun so very good. You can compute to the nearest tenths. So the result shows that the estimated number of live births per 1,000 population in 1995 was 37. How about total fertility rate refers to the number of live births per 1,000 female population in childbearing ages 15 to 44. Please memorize this one, itong 15 to 44 childbearing ages. it may be computed using the formula below. Okay? So number of live births divided by female population in childbearing age. Kasi baka tanungin ito, no? 15 to 44. If this is the example, can you compute?
May sumagot po ng 80 tsaka 88 po.
88. Okay, so correct answer is 88. So the result means that there were 88 live births for every 1,000 females in childbearing age. Then crude death rate, infant mortality rate, and maternal mortality ratio. Okay. I'd like you to memorize this one. Okay. Morbidity rate is used to determine the health risk in the area. The Philippine Health Development Plan used the following assumptions in computing for morbidity. So we need to memorize that if 42% of the population will get sick, 80%, okay, of the 42 usually go to government hospitals. This is an assumption. 20% of 42 usually go to private. So, 100 na yan, ano? 100. So, and then 10% of the 80%. 10% of the 80% who go to government hospitals will be confined. And then 50% of the 10%, we are referring to the 10%, will go to primary hospitals. 30% of the 10% will go to secondary hospitals. 20% of the 10 will go to tertiary hospitals. I would like you to, kasi you don't have time anymore to, to memorize this one. Meron akong exercise na ginagawa. So I will call some of you here online. So, i-ano nyo. We need to memorize this one and tatanungin ko if na-retain. So, wala namang mali So, gusto ko lang makita sino yung mga mabibilis mag-memorize. So, I can even help you more. I can help you further in your strategies. 40%. So, kailangan ganito. I-recite ninyo. So, 42% of the population will get sick. Then 80% of the 42 go to government hospitals. 20 of the 42 go to private. Then out of the 80% who goes to government hospital, 10% of which of 80% will be confined. And then that 10%, pinag-usapan natin, yung breakdown niya is, di ba, 100 din ito 100 din ito. 100 din ito. So, 50, 30, 20. Primary, secondary, tertiary. So, yung breakdown, ibig sabihin, mas madami pa rin yung primary. So, yung tertiary, di ba, 500 beds and up. So, okay, and then, later, I will, ito muna. So, okay, I'll go to, I'll stop first the broadcasting. I'll stop. And then, trial lang ito, ha? Don't leave. Sir Adolfo, tingnan ko lang kung ilan yung na-retain mo. Can you unmute? Sir? Or, sige, tatawag ako ng, si Angela. Angela, can you unmute? Hello? Jen, walang nakakarinig sa akin?
Rinig ka naman po, ma'am.
Volunteer. Sige. Kahit 50% lang yung na-retain. Let's see how fast you could, para mas makatulong pa ako. Si Anel David. Sige nga, how much have you retained from that, pag nung finlash ka yan? Okay.
Bali, 42%.
Game. This is good, di ba? Sige, let's try.
Yan, nakalimutan ko. 40% will be
Will get sick, di ba?
Yes, ma'am, will get sick.
Oo,
Tapos
sige.
80% will go to, sorry.
Correct.
Oh, 80% will go to government hospital.
Oo, doon sa
Tapos,
42. Di ba?
Opo.
Okay.
For 80% of the 42 will go to government hospital. Tapos 20% of the 42 will go to private.
Okay. Di ko lang ka pa. And then, okay na yon, di ba? Sige. Okay na yung 80 na kompleto mo na yan. 80 goes to government, and then 20 goes to private. Okay, now, we're down to, so out of the 80%, and so, ibe-breakdown mo na yan.
Oo, yung 80%, 10% doon will be hospitalized.
Okay.
Tapos doon sa 10% na yon,
okay.
50% will go to primary. Tapos 30 secondary, and then 20 tertiary.
Di ba? Ang galing ni Anel.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Galing.
Sino yung next game? Thank you, Anel. Si Kwan kaya, puro babae kasi magagaling magkana, no? Sa lalaki naman. Si CY kaya. Ay, CY, tapos ko na lahat yung ninyo, yung COE nyo. Makipag-appointment na kayo kay Jen. CY.
Good evening po, ma'am.
Hello. Okay. Gayahin mo nga yung sinabi ni Anel.
Okay, ma'am. So 42% of the population will get sick. 80% of the 42 will go to government hospital.
Correct.
And 20% of the 42% will go to private hospital.
Correct. Okay.
Then,
first task mo. Okay. Next.
Then 10% out of the 80% will be hospitalized or confined.
Okay.
Then 50% of the 10% will go to primary hospital. 30% of the 10% will go to secondary hospital. And the remaining 20% of the 10% will go to tertiary hospital, ma'am.
Galing naman niya. Si CY. Next one. Galing di ba? Next. Volunteer. Si Christine Masayon. Game.
Good evening po.
Evening. Game.
So 42% of the population will get sick. 80% of the 42 will go to government hospitals. 20% of the 42 will go to private hospitals. Then 10% of the 80% will go to will get confined. Then 50% of the 10% will go to primary hospitals. 30 will go to secondary hospitals. Then the remaining 20% will go to tertiary hospitals.
Ang gagaling naman ninyo, no? So it means it's 11, almost 12 midnight, and yet kaya ninyo. How much more kapag the board exam starts at 7:30 or 8, o di mas lalong fresh, di ba? O inaantok pa yan. O last one. Last one. Sino yung Si Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening po.
Okay. Please do the same.
42%, ma'am, of the population will get sick. Tapos, dun sa 42% na yon, 80% sa government hospital, 20% sa private.
Good.
Tapos dun sa 80% po, 10% doon ang hospitalized.
Okay. Eh, dun sa
Tapos,
hospitalize, dun sa pupunta sa hospital, okay,
apo,
Mm.
50, dun sa na-hospital po, 50% nung 10% ang sa primary hospitals. Tapos
Uh-uh.
30% sa secondary.
Uh-uh.
Tapos 20% of the 10% sa tertiary hospitals.
Okay, very good. Ngayon, prepare your calculator now. If you have a total population of 600 o lahat nung nirecite nyo, i-compute nyo nga. 600 1,000. Okay. Compute ninyo yung nirecite niya. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, ma'am.
600,000 population. Tatawag ulit ako, ha? Naubusan. Bakit 31 lang, Jen? Parang may... Huwag
Ano
kayong
ma'am, umalis yung iba, and then dumagdag yung konti, naging 31.
Oh, di ba? This is good. Para magising lahat tayo. Don't worry. Wala namang maliit. Di ba? You will get this copy naman. So, okay. Who is ready to say, okay, 42% of the population will get sick. So, out of 600,000 population, blank will get sick. Ganon. So, volunteer. Hindi yung kanina, yung top 3. Hindi yung natapos na. Beverlyn. Hi. Si Edeliza. Hi, Edeliza. Sino yung gusto? I'm looking. Si Jeff Rich kaya. Hi, Jeff Rich. Or mag-volunteer. Yung values. Sige nga. Otherwise, Anel. Si Anel na lang ulit. Hi, Anel. Pwedeng ikaw na lang.
Ako ulit, ma'am. Naka-lights off na kasi. Sige. O sige. 42% of, sandali, mag-calculator.
You need to use your
42%
calculator.
nung 600,000 is 252,000 of the population will get sick.
Okay.
Tapos, 80% of this 252,000,
Hmm.
80% of this will go to the government hospital.
Ilan yung value?
200, 201,600.
Correct.
Ayun, will go to government hospital. So minus minus 252. So yung remaining na 50,400 will go to the private hospital.
Ayan.
Ayan. Tapos 10% of 10% of the 80%, which is 20,100. 20,100 is the 10% of the 80%. Ayun mismo ganun. Ayun. Will be hospitalized. Tapos, 50% of
Itry
this,
mo nga ulit, Anel, kasi parang
50% of this, which is 10,500, will go to the primary hospital. Tapos, 30% of this, which is 6,030, will go to the secondary hospital.
naawa, i-check mo na lang later yung yung ma-hospitalize. Yung 10% out of the 80%, diba?
Opo.
I-check mo na lang later yung values niya, no? So, you need to be very exact doon. So, okay ba? Thank you, Mel. So, let me just share, I'll just give a background of the health sector naman, and then we will rest. Jen, wala na naman yung isa. Huwag kayong umalis. Huwag kayong umalis. Because we need to produce 100% passing rate and pandit tita. And then we need to produce also top-notchers, di ba? Mag-discover tayo ng mga top-notchers natin. So, kailangan mas strong tayo, this group. Okay. So, yung for malnutrition, this is another tricky, naririnig ako dyan, Jen?
Yes po, ma'am. Naririnig po.
Okay. So, malnutrition rate refers to proportion of malnourished children aged 0 to 14 years old to the total population in the 0 to 14 bracket. But in also we have another requirement which is manpower requirements for health services. They correlate with the adequacy and inadequacy of health service rendered based on health status. And then we have outpatient care. Alam mo, lumabas ito ng yung health requirements. For outpatient care, this may be computed as follows. Number of manpower is equal to number of man-hours required for outpatients divided by available professional time in hours. But in computing man-hour required for outpatients, okay, we have a formula, number of cases times frequency of visit times duration in minutes divided by 60 minutes per hour. Quite tricky, di ba? So, professional time is equal to so itong number of manpower, okay? Available professional time is equal to 272 days times number of available professional time. Okay. Iyan ako ulit. I'll clean this one so we can have a last exercise. So, kayong umalis. Where professional time available for is this. Okay. We need to, kailangan ma-memorize natin ulit ito. Municipal City Health Officer is 4 hours for direct patient care and 4 hours for administrative or auxiliary time. 4. Yung mga paperwork, ganyan. Public health nurse is 5 hours for direct patient care and 3 hours for administrative auxiliary time. So, pansinin nyo, 8 hours. 8 hours, okay. Rural health midwife is mas mataas na naman, 6 hours for direct patient care and 2 hours administrative auxiliary time. Rural sanitary inspector is 6 2, so same siya dito. Then vaccinator, 7 hours for direct patient care and 1 hour for administrative auxiliary time. So, dapat may memorization na kayong ginagawa dito, no? Dentist is 5 hours. Ito, government setting ito. 5 hours for direct patient care and 3 hours for administrative auxiliary time. Then, assume frequency. So, ito yung frequency dito. Here. Is 2.88 times. So, that's constant. Then, duration of each visit or consultation greater or lesser or greater than 15 minutes or up to 15 minutes depending on type of illness or disease. So, I need you to memorize this. So, you start with the municipal city health officer, then public health nurse, then midwife, rural sanitary inspector, vaccinator, then dentist. So, kapag ka-memorize ninyo 4 hours direct patient care, 4 hours admin, ganon. Then si nurse, 5-3. Rural, okay? So, I'll give you, so this will be our last exercise. 2 minutes. Okay. Siguro screenshot ninyo or kasi I'll stop here. I'll stop and then we'll call at least 3 people and then we take a rest. Naging 29 Jen. So, wala yung iba. Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, sige.
Sorry po.
Say it. I-recite nga natin yan.
Ay, sige po, ma'am.
Okay.
Municipal City Health Officer, 5 direct, ano yan? Patient time, tama po ba, ma'am? Tapos 3 hours, administrative auxiliary time. And then next is yung public health nurse is, hindi pala. Ulitin ko, mama. Municipal City Health Officer, 4 hours direct patient time and 4 hours auxiliary or administrative time. And then public health nurse is 5 hours direct patient time and then 3 hours.
Hang on. Ano ulit yung health officer? Ano yung direct
Public
patient?
health nurse po.
Hindi, yung health officer, ano ulit?
Ay, health officer po is 4 hours direct
for
patient time and 4
Care.
hours of administrative auxiliary time.
Can you say direct patient care?
Ay,
Care.
direct patient care. Okay
Okay.
po. And then public health nurse is 5 hours direct patient care and then 3 hours administrative auxiliary time. And then rural midwife, tama. Rural midwife po is 6 hours direct patient care and 2 hours administrative time. And then rural health inspector, same po na 6 hours direct patient time and 2 hours administrative auxiliary, direct patient care and 2 hours na administrative auxiliary time. And then vaccinator is 7 hours direct patient care and 1 hour administrative auxiliary time. And then dentist is 5 hours direct patient care and 3 hours administrative auxiliary time po. Yun
Very
lang
good.
muna. And thank you po.
Very good. Okay, so one more before we retire to bed or we sleep. Si Jong. Hi, Jong.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. Municipal or city health officer, 4 hours for direct patient care and 4 hours for administrative and auxiliary time. And then public health nurse, 5 hours for the direct patient care and 3 hours for administrative time. And then rural health midwife, the same pa rin po sa public health nurse na 6 hours for direct patient care and 2 hours for administrative auxiliary time. And then rural sanitary inspector, the same pa rin po na 6 hours for direct patient care and 2 hours for administrative and auxiliary time. Then sa vaccinator is 7 hours for direct patient care and 1 hour for administrative auxiliary time. And then last is yung dentist, 5 hours for direct patient care and 3 hours for administrative and auxiliary time. Yun po, ma'am.
Very good. Madaming task ngayon si Jong, di ba? You nag-prayer at the same time nag-recite, di ba? So congratulations. Jen, take it away. Bali, tomorrow we will have exercise for yung competition for manpower requirements. Please study.